you're a trans woman, you're biologically male. Is any of that wrong? Okay.
First of all,
I feel like I've been respectful.
No.
So this is from a show where they have conservative versus trans women, and guess who got invited to the show? So with that, let's get into this, and then I'm going to get right back to you. But I want to start with the first prompt is womanhood is defined by biology.
You also don't know what it's like to be a trans woman. And I think that we get too comfortable reducing trans women down just to their genitalia. Because let's be clear, when we talk about the experience of being a trans woman, it does not start with biology. It starts with gender identity, gender expression, and how we socially show up. My womanhood is not a threat to your womanhood. And I actually agree with you. I have a similar way of thinking of like, I was born this way, I will die this way. My experience is very sacred, and that's why I'm in alignment with all of you here to be able to share that. I just think that certain groups, certain people love to use the conversation around biology, but we don't want to talk about the nuances of biology. There are some women, some cis women, who look more masculine than trans women. And does that take away from their womanhood? So I really think that we really have to open up and expand and broaden on what it is to be a woman.
Oh, wow. First off, thanks. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging in with me today, because this is just mind-blowing. This person, first off, Blossom, continues to say the same thing over and over. You watch the same talking points over and over. Now, with that, first off, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. It's helping a lot. Thanks for liking. Thanks for commenting. Helps me bring these videos to you. I totally appreciate you. So I'm going to put the link to the whole video because you should watch it. It's so difficult. Oh my God. But that being said, I just want to concentrate on Blossom, the black trans woman, because the stuff that comes out of Blossom's mouth is all total lies. And I am going to prove to you today with actual facts that what's happening here is Blossom continually gaslights the conversation and uses race and racism to shut the conversation down, which means that Blossom doesn't have the facts. Also, Blossom lies throughout this whole thing. So that being said, I'm gonna just concentrate on Blossom, because Blossom basically overspeaks everyone else on the trans woman panel, except her friend to, I think it's the right of her, who's also very hostile. Those two are hostile. The other two trans women are not so hostile. One gets a little huffy puffy during the trans kid thing, but I think I just really want to concentrate on Blossom, because you know, this person gets highlighted in so many of these trans conversations, and I really think because they love the gaslighting, these platforms, and they love to get you all riled up around it. So including myself, but I'm going to try to keep myself as focused. And, you know, I concentrate on Blossom because Blossom came after me and called me a racist, and then eventually apologized in the elevator after it was the Amala Epinobi show I was on with Blossom, and Blossom just came out the gate with the whole racism and because I'm white, I'm racist and all this nonsense. So I'm just, you know, I'm over Blossom. Blossom is a very bad representation of the trans community. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Let me get on with this because it's quite fascinating listening to Blossom. And Blossom is always focused on biology. Okay, so let's do this. By the way, biology is the reason why you are a transgender woman, because you are a male, okay, who's transitioning to look like a female.
I was not biologically born female, so I'm not going to come out here and try to tell you, oh yeah, I'm all that, I am the girl. I know that I'm transsexual, but I live as a woman, I'm comfortable as a woman, and my whole life is female now.
It is literally why you're trans, no other reason. I don't care about your gender identity or what you choose to look like. We're talking, this is supposed to be about facts. So I don't care what you put in front of your woman part. You are biologically male forever forever until you leave this earth. You will be a biological male. And there's nothing transphobic about that, by the way. So don't let them gaslight you on this.
As
A
woman
woman.
is a type of woman, and that goes under the whole umbrella of what womanhood is. But going back to the regular question, the whole question around biology, like I said, you want to open up the conversation for nuances. So what do we say to women who have naturally higher testosterone levels, who look more natural, who look more masculine because of something that we call genetics? Because genetics is something that you cannot control. So do we take away a woman's womanhood because she's more masculine, because she's a tomboy? Or is she still a woman? Because that could become a whole social construct around that. See, I think what Stassi is saying is like you have to allow like nuance to be able to flow in, to be able to understand that. Like just y'all being a conservative woman, I like to know what your definition of conservative is, because is it more just political, or is it because like you carry yourself a certain way? Do you dress a certain way? So I can understand a little bit more.
I would love to jump in on the.
Do you really know how hard it is for me to listen to this person? Makes zero sense. What are you talking about, Blossom? Because somebody presents masculine, that does not make them a female. And notice the wording, woman, female, okay? We are talking about biology, and I don't care how masculine. I used to walk the world in my biology, okay? I still do, but presenting wise, I used to walk the world as a very masculine woman, okay? And I got misgendered all the time. That did not make me anything other than a masculine woman. On some level, I'm not. It's very difficult because this conversation has been so gaslit, right? Am I a woman? Yeah. Okay, so Larry, how about that? Yes, I'm a woman. I prefer to live my life as a man, okay? I never get misgendered. I am still biologically female, okay? What are you talking about with masculine women? You're lumping them now into transgender. This is the problem, okay? You cannot take women who are more masculine and now add them into this conversation, because the conversation is about, are trans women women? Does biology matter? So if you, all of you, okay, on that panel would just acknowledge your biology, I guarantee you the conservative women would not care about anything. But you're trying to gaslight the conversation by switching. You're trying to gaslight the conversation by doing this. What is that little magic trick where you put the peanut under the thing and move it around, and which cup is it under? That's what you're trying to do, okay? So no, it doesn't work that way. Stay on the facts, and you can think whatever you want. You can think the color of this wall behind me is purple when it's not, and that's totally up to you, friend, but it doesn't change the color of the wall. So I'm just so fed up with how they try to manipulate the way we think. But masculine women are still masculine women, okay? They're biologically female. Doesn't change anything. So the next prompt is trans women should be included in sports. This segment is great because Blossom can't control Blossom. And here comes this is so good.
You know what I mean?
I'm a little bit I've debated this topic a lot. If you follow me and follow my platform, and I definitely want to respond to a lot of what you're saying. First of all, I would say trans women are women. They're not men. Yep. I understand what you're saying. You're probably talking about cis men and cis women. Bodies are different. I totally agree with that. I am a personal believer that trans women do not have a competitive edge. We have trans athletes like Leah Thomas who won 5th place in swimming. She didn't win 1st place. And the thing is, when it comes to trans athletes, their hormone levels have to be at a certain level to be able to participate in the first place. And a lot of the controversy with Leah Thomas was she tied in 5th place with Riley Gaines, who I'm not too fond of myself. And so it was this whole conversation around, can trans women have this competitive edge? Absolutely not. It goes back to the conversation that some women have higher levels of natural testosterone than some trans women. And we do not always have the competitive edge over cis athletes. There are plenty of trans athletes out there. Now, there's not enough for us to be able to compete in our own sports. So that's why it's important that trans women play with women in sports. Now, the reality of it is we don't give trans men this same slack. And
Okay, I'm going to stop right there because she's going to get it. I keep saying she, even though I don't want to respect Blossom, gets no respect. But that being said, Blossom is going to get into a next question that I can't wait to answer. But first off, Leah Thomas, okay, is a biological male who dominated women's sports. All Blossom keeps talking about is that one race with Riley Gaines. By the way, Riley Gaines did tie with her for, I think it was 4th or 5th place, but they gave the trophy to Leah Thomas. So there it is. Riley Gaines got knocked off the platform for this. Secondly, it's not necessarily just about the hormones. It's also about the structure of the body, okay? The strength that's already been implemented in the body through puberty. And this is why they want to give little boys and little girls puberty blockers so that they can say that there is no advantage. So they're willing to throw kids under the bus. These adults are willing to throw the kids under the bus so that they can be proven correct, okay? So let me just read this to you, okay? So in 2022 NCAA Swimming Championships, Leah Thomas and Riley Gaines tied 5th place in the 200-meter freestyle event. Thomas had previously, this is the most important part, Thomas had previously won the 500-yard freestyle, becoming the first openly transgender athlete to win an NCAA division national championship in the event. Well, Gaines and Thomas tied in the 200-yard race. Gaines was originally awarded a 6th place trophy, and a 5th place trophy was sent to her later. Leah Thomas won, okay, the 500-yard freestyle. But does Blossom say that? She's only focusing on one race. He won. Okay, Leah then won the woman's race in the 500-yard. So Blossom doesn't know anything. Blossom isn't even an athlete, okay? You can tell, but Blossom isn't even an athlete. So shut up, Blossom, because you're lying again, okay? Now, you wait. I have so much more facts that will override everything that Blossom keeps trying to block these women from saying.
we don't give trans men this same slack and this same mouth like we do trans women, right? And so my question always becomes, why is that? Why do conservative women not give trans men the same flack that they give trans women in sports? I would love to know the answer to that question.
So for me,
Okay, Blossom, I'll give you the answer to the question of why don't conservative women give trans men the same flack that they give trans women? Because trans men do not dominate sports. It's real simple. Biologically, females are not going to swoop down and kick butt on all the dudes. They haven't done it. There's one or two trans guys that maybe want to race some here or there, but the majority of the races, trans men are not going to dominate. Oh my God, it's so frustrating. Biology, Blossom. That's why.
feminists, but I would think that a big part of feminism is giving women opportunities. A big part of a lot of girls like me and friends that I have was getting scholarships in sports to go to college. That's how a lot of my friends were even able to go and pursue a degree. And so when they're being beat out, there's like 900 instances globally where trans women
Can
have
you show
beat
those
out.
resources? I don't think so. And if your feminism does not include trans women, it's very problematic.
Yeah.
I just want you to know that.
That's what I was gonna say.
there's many instances where trans women have beat out
Please
biological
name a
women,
few.
and that's a sad.
I would love
sad
to. We would love to know those resources.
Well, you mentioned Leah Thomas. I know you said that Leah Thomas tied with Riley
She would
Gaines.
have got 438th if she was competing against
Right,
other
and
men.
so that's what we're talking about when we say like those opportunities are taken. And I'm sure you believe that Leah Thomas should be in there, but that's one spot
So what
that
about
could
the
have
first
been
four
given to a
women that
biological
beat
woman.
Leah Thomas and Riley Gaines? So what about those women? They were cis women. They were biological women. They were not, excuse me, hold on. Let's not interrupt a black trans woman when she's speaking. Leah Thomas got 5th place.
But you do interrupt.
I know, Tiffany,
Leah
all
Thomas got
the
5th place.
devil's advocate. You guys interrupted a million times.
Okay, Blossom. What about the 500-yard freestyle? Leah Thomas beat every single woman. How come you're not talking about that race? How come you're only talking about that one race with Riley Gaines? How many more races did Leah Thompson win? So come on, you're so fake and you're so full of it, and you're going to get nailed right now because I just proved to you that that's not true. Leah Thomas did win. Leah is the first openly transgender woman to win, okay, an NCAA Division I race. Now, the next thing I want to, so if you heard Blossom was like, we want facts, we want stats, we want this. Okay, here you go. How about this? That woman was 100% right when she said that. UN study reveals transgender athletes have won nearly 900 medals in women's competitions. Moted, Blossom. The UN says transgender athletes competing in women's athletic events have won nearly 900 medals over the competitors, according to the results of a study obtained by the National News Desk. The 20-page document examined violence against women and girls in sports and claims more than 600 biologically female athletes have lost at least 890 medals to transgender competitors. These defeats occurred in over 400 competitions in 29 sports, though authors did not specify specific events, levels, or competitions or time. This is the UN. Authors of the UN study said the creation of mixed sex competitions has disadvantaged biological female athletes who take on transgender opponents. Male athletes have specific attributes considered advantage in certain sports, such as strength and testosterone levels, which are higher than the average range of females even after puberty, thereby resulting in the loss of fair opportunity, the study reads. To avoid the loss of fair opportunity, males must not compete in the female category. I'm going to look for the link to the study and put it here so you can see it. So there is that. Blossom, you asked for that facts. I just gave them to you. You don't care. I know it. You actually don't care.
They were biological women. They were not, excuse me, hold on. Let's not interrupt a black trans woman when she's speaking. Leah Thomas got 5th place.
But you do interrupt.
I know, Tiffany,
Leah
all
Thomas got 5th
the
place.
devil's advocate. You guys interrupted a million times.
When the black trans, when the only black person is on set, when the only black person's on
What
set,
does that matter?
I think that we should prioritize the black voice here.
No,
So I'm
I
just
know, I don't
saying.
agree with that. I don't agree with that.
If you
Also,
say that we're
are
all
we being
women and we're all
racist?
equal, then
I don't
why
care.
Racist today?
Then
I
why
don't
would
care
you
if
be
you're racist, but that's not fair.
black make you any different?
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me powerful. Wink, wink.
Those women are making great points. All of a sudden now you're better than everyone else, yet actually you're supposed to be equal to the women. You see that? The hypocrisy that Blossom always uses, the black trans woman. I'm the only black trans woman here. Black trans women get priority. No, you don't. No, you don't. I don't care you're black. That's totally insane. That's racist in itself. Not only that, you're calling everyone racist again. You are such a loser. You are a loser. If all you can do is talk about being a black trans woman, you're a loser. It means you have nothing else to talk about. It means you gaslight the conversation in order to be the one. Literally, you dominated the whole panel above all the white people, okay? Then all the white people go, I'm the only black. Why are you the only black trans woman? Why? Why aren't you sharing space with your black sisters? How come you're the only one out there dominating the space? Okay? I would love to know why there's no other black trans women who are ever in any of these sort of debates or whatever you want to call them ever. It's only ever you.
These opportunities torn from young women, whether it's first place or fifth place, it's a sad thing. And many of you self-proclaimed feminists, you say that you stand for uplifting women, but at the end of the day, biologically, you are male, and so that is sad that you're taking that spot, or you're advocating for taking that spot away from a biological female.
The respect.
I don't think they
What
know
did I
how to
say
give
wrong?
the
No,
respect.
Well, some of them
What did I say
do.
wrong?
Some of them are being respectful.
You're a trans woman, you're biologically male. Is any of that wrong? Okay.
First of
so
all,
I feel like I've been respectful.
No,
Silence, literal silence, because they know they are. So why are we even having the conversation? Why does Blossom keep gaslighting it when they just literally shut down? They couldn't even, they were like a deer in headlights. It was so great. Okay, so let's get into the kid thing. Is the trans movement imposing trans ideology onto the youth? Okay, come on. Of course, you know what Blossom is going to say in this one.
Can I just say that trans women just mind their own business? We literally are trying to live our lives each and every day, trying to survive in a world that wants to take us out. We're not trying to push ideologies on anyone. We're literally minding our own business. I think a lot of, and I'm not saying y'all do this, but I think a lot of conservative folks like to use propaganda against us to make it seem like we're pushing this narrative that we want little kids to transition and that we want to do this and want to do that, and that's not it. We're literally just trying to survive, and I think sometimes this rhetoric does put us against y'all, and I see past.
You're not. No, you're not. You literally want to dominate the conversation. You literally have no respect for anybody else. You think you're the end all be all. You're such this total lies. That's not, they don't want to just live their life, because if they just wanted to live their life like the older transsexual people do, then none of this conversation would be happening, okay? This only started when Blossom's trans activists started getting into this whole thing and spreading lies and acting as if they are women and acting as if biology doesn't matter and gaslighting everybody, and all the trans rights went down, and you started bringing kids into the picture, lying about we don't transition children and they have to go through a whole, watch this.
A few things you were saying. I understand your uncomfortability, because there's a lot of folks, I think, on both sides that are very uncomfortable. But, I'm definitely for a trans child being able to get their gender affirming care, because there is a whole process with it. Like, you have to have a medical evaluation. You do have to be a certain age anyways to be able to have surgeries or whatnot.
Surgery. I'm familiar with the process.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm glad that you are, because there's a lot of folks that have not. And so the thing is, a trans child can just transition socially and not have anything medically done, or just mentally or environmentally. And so I just want to also bring that to the space too, because I think sometimes people just think that trans kids are just having surgeries at young age, like 7, 8, 9. And I know on the conservative side, a lot of these conservative influencers have run off that propaganda, and I just want to say that's not necessarily what's happening. Like, you have to, like, the doctor has to approve that the child can go through this. Like, they have to see a therapist to make sure this is what you want.
I understand.
You have to talk to the parents. Like, there's a whole process with that.
In best case scenarios, if you're going.
So first off, no, that's not true. It's called gender affirming therapy. It's not therapy. It's gender affirming therapy. And in one visit, and that's a fact, it's an actual fact, you can be trans and start taking hormones at 15. I have seen 13-year-old kids who do not need the approval of anyone, including their parents, at Planned Parenthood, because I've interviewed them. Why would I lie about it? Okay, I'm a transsexual myself. Okay, why are you operating? It is literal surgery, Blossom, when you take a young 13-year-old female and remove their breasts.
I'm someone who has been dosed with Lupron and testosterone starting at 12. I received a bilateral mastectomy just 1 month after my 13th birthday. I went straight from training bras to binding, straight to the operating table at 13. The reason why is because I had undiagnosed autism and unaddressed childhood sexual trauma. I was scared to become a woman. I was getting unwanted male attention, which made me fearful of being victimized again.
How is that not surgery? And how is that not a child? Now, going to the 7, 8, 9, yeah, no surgeries are happening in 7, 8, 9. But what is happening is puberty blockers, okay? And puberty blockers are a form of surgery, in my opinion. It is irreversible. Do not let them lie to you. Blossom will lie to you right here and right now about the fact that they are reversible, that they don't hurt little kids, and that cisgender people take it for precocious puberty. That is an actual condition. That is an actual physical condition of a child whose puberty is ahead of their classmates. So it's a physical. Maybe they're growing, their breasts are too big, or they're growing too fast height-wise. They do it in a very short, limited time. It is the complete opposite with transgender kids. There's nothing wrong with them. It's here. The adults like Blossom are telling young kids that they are trans when that just is a mental thing. It is not a physical thing. This is why I get so upset about this, all of this, because these lies. Let me find that part.
I just want to, like,
Yeah,
you're
let me
saying gender
clarify
affirming
that.
care, but that is,
Yeah.
those are irreversible things, especially when they're done over spans of years. It
Yeah.
affects things like fertility, bone density, and all those things.
So we also have to acknowledge that there are some cis children that are also on puberty blockers as well too, because of health risks. Because there's something called precocious puberty, where little kids are coming into puberty a lot faster, and so for health reasons, they're also able to use those puberty blockers as well too. And so that's kind of
but
what I
not
mean
for
about
the
gender
extended time that a
affirming
child
care.
who is trans would.
Not
a child who is
necessarily.
trans. Precocious puberty.
It
if a
just
child,
really depends, because we don't.
That's
but when I say gender affirming care, though,
You see how Blossom can't even answer. Blossom skirting the issue completely. Well, it really depends. Well, we don't really. Blossom was about to say, we really don't know when they were cut off. They really don't know. And stop equating precocious puberty to trans kids. It is ridiculous. They're basically black and white. How would you like it, Blossom, if I started identifying as a black dude? How would you like that? Okay? It's the same thing when you start saying you are a woman. Okay? It's literally the same thing. You are not a woman. Okay? You are a transgender woman who is a biological male. If you just say that, we can just move forward in the world. But you keep creating lies, disconnect. This stuff is so irritating. I just don't unbelieve how they keep platforming this person who's a complete joke and is such a horrible representation of anything trans. Okay, and I just do not like that person. I'm pretty sure your friends are going to send you this video. I don't like you, okay? I think you're a horrible person. I think you're a liar, a gaslighter, all of those things. And you are destroying the community big time, okay? So take that to the bank. So with that, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm so over this whole trans nonsense. And it's obvious they just do it for, like, this video got so many views. It's crazy. So when you put transgender people on a panel like that to misrepresent, how come there's no, like, it's just unbelievable to me that there's no other black women, black trans women in anywhere having this conversation. It's just mind-blowing to me. So that being said, have a great rest of your day. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me bring you these videos, and I'll continue to say it, and I'll continue to push back on the rhetoric that has nothing to do with being trans and everything to do with activism. So I'll see you guys all on the next one.